Okay, hello, greetings and welcome. All right, now when we're working with Tai Chi, we want to go through some of the fundamental principles of what makes Tai Chi work. Go back to basics. So we'll start with our head alignment. There's this concept that will start in most of the classics, keep the head suspended from above. So from just purely mechanical viewpoint, not the magnetic mental vacuity above the crown, form inside the body, and you let the energy pull up. That requires a fair bit of alchemical skill. But from a basics, you touch your occipital, the base of the skull with the neck joints, touch your chin and tilt. And you want that point on the back of your neck to push against your finger and open slightly. Some people call this the martial crown when you get this tilt correct, because the center of the top of the head moves slightly forward as if you're covering your chin. That point needs to be opened up on the base of the skull. And from there you stretch your spine and suspend the head through that gentle stretch. When you've been building the ball and vital breathing, you stretch and tune the spine and your neck to that stretch to create the right vital feeling, and that increases blood flow to the brain. So this is your first point. From there we'll go down to the feet. Now your toes and your fingers need to be synchronized. That in order to activate your quads and get power to come out of your legs, you need to stimulate the nerves in your toes. So you grip with your fingers and you grip with your toes simultaneously. And what this does is it connects the biotensecurity of the body. It tricks the body into connection when you stretch the fingers and toes. So when you grab the ground with your toes, you stretch your toes out and then grip. And the gripping stimulates the leg muscles, stimulates the body to connect. Your arch needs to be hollowed and stretched. There's a stretch in the arch. And between the ball toe and the heel, that stretch has a slight cupping action to it, so that you're sucking onto the ground, and this stretch produces a very fast footwork. It allows you to move at high speed. So this needs to be correct. That arch controls the alignment of your ankle. So if you don't hollow your foot and flatten your foot, your ankle will go a little bit out of alignment. When you hold the arch, it brings it into alignment. Best way to do this is pick up a deadlift bar, put your body weight on it if you're reasonably strong. So if you're standing on some bathroom scales, it's double your normal body weight, your body weight plus the weight of the bar. And then hollow the arch and move the ankle side to side, and there's a place in which you feel the power transmit through the heel really cleanly and clearly. That's the correct place for your ankle. So if you have flat feet, your ankle's usually out of alignment. Just create an artificial stretching and hollowing of the arch to pull the ankle into position. The knee alignment, it's a center of two triangles. So you have a triangle between your hip, your knee, and your ankle, and you have a second triangle between the center line of your foot, your ankle, and your knee. So they're often referred to as the kidney 1 point, just behind the ball underneath. Now, this second triangle needs to be on the same plane. So if I push the knee out, I'm out of alignment. If I pull it in, now I'm in alignment. Pull it in further out, the two triangles out of alignment. Keep those two triangles on the same plane. Any power lifter who lifts a heavy weight will automatically put that knee in the center of those two triangles to lift the weight so they don't blow their knees out. It's common sense. So a lot of the older schools will say, oh, push your knees out. Don't do that. It wrecks your knees. And it also wrecks your ankles, and it creates lower back problems because it's so out of alignment. You can get good at doing wrong things, but it doesn't mean it's right. So get it right to start with. Keep your knees in the center of the two triangles. Your hip needs to be stretched, not compressed. A lot of people, when they sink, they compress the hip joint. You want to pull it open. So pull it open and then relax through the stretch. Don't relax into compression, relax into stretch. Big difference. And we need to take this principle through the whole body, where we pull all the joints of the body open and relax gravity through the stretch, so we become fast and conductive, not heavy and clunky. Tai Chi is not a dead-weighted limp art. You see a lot of people doing Tai Chi, relax, 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 relax. When you die, your body becomes limp. You don't want to simulate death by being limp. You want to simulate the peak of conductivity of your body. That is when you activate biotensecurity. When you stretch the elasticity and cultivate an elastic body, now I'm stretched. Energy will travel through there throughout my body and it'll be highly efficient. Tai Chi is an elastic body art. Train elasticity, not limpness. Energy does not conduct through limpness. It does not generate through limpness. You're wanting to transfer tension from muscle tension to fascia tension by relaxing and stretching the joints open and relaxing into a stretch. It still has tension in it. And that's the only way you're going to produce large amounts of internal energy if your tension is biotensecurity oriented. It's in the stretch of your body. Now your tailbone and your base chakra, you want to move this, rotate it forward and backward to get your pelvic alignment correct. And this will align your Ming Men point. Ming Men is the most inward curve of the spine. Again, pick up the deadlift bar and then roll your pelvis forward and backwards until you go to this place of click. That's my place of power. That's where you open the form. That's the alignment of your spine and structure. It took me a year, the first year of Tai Chi, to get my alignment where the energy would just drop to the ground. And it wasn't until I spent 10 minutes in the gym on a deadlift bar going click, click, there it is. And then the energy drops straight to the ground. So you double your body weight and you see errors in your alignment instantly. But with your normal body weight, you can't see errors. Your body has learned how to do things wrong, so it feels right. But as soon as you double your body weight, any place where your alignment is wrong will be visible straight away. So pick up a deadlift bar, check your ankle alignment, check your knee hip alignment, check your lower back alignment, and go to your place of power. This will align you correctly. There's a 1 to 2 finger width gap if you were to push your back onto the wall between your lower back and your buttocks and upper spine. So there's a natural curve in your spine. Don't try and straighten the lower back and try and straighten your neck out and make your body like a board, because your body's not built that way. You're going to start pinching nose and do damage to yourself. There is a degree of gravitational drop when you do that type of straightening, but don't overdo it. Now the midpoint of the scapula is the next point where we want to hollow the chest and round the back. And when we open the form and we roll the hands around the tip of the thumbs to lift the arms up, that rolling happens because we hollow the chest and round the back. So as you stretch the back open and connect thumb to thumb, you get this connectivity. So you're going to stretch your back open at that point. And this hollowing of the chest and stretching the back gives you that correct feeling for movement. When you put a force on this hand, you want to have it connected to the other hand so that the forces run from side to side. And they're grounded out from this upper circle ring onto the middle circle, lower circle, and then you can transfer the forces down. But left and right hand have to be stretched and connected. And hollowing the chest and rounding and stretching out the back give you that connectivity. If I was to pin my shoulders back too far, force from here would get caught in my back, wouldn't reach here. I wouldn't be able to efficiently transfer from left to right, right to left as I'm doing my push hands exercises. So how much you hollow the chest and how much you round the back is important. If you excessively round the back, you float. So you have to get the right stretch connection between the hands to do all your boxing skills correctly. Okay, so from there we look at the shoulder alignment. Now the shoulder needs to drop. If you put your hand on the clavicle and lift your arms, make sure the clavicle doesn't rise. If you put your finger on the 2 dimples of the shoulder and lift your arms, make sure that the shoulder joint doesn't rise. And then put your hand on the lat and lift your arm up and go, oh, my lat's pulling up. Pull the lat down to maintain groundedness in the higher position. So touching there and then sucking downwards and connecting your ribs to lift your arm. This gives you a kinetic load, which allows you to create a downward force. If this lifted, there's no kinetic load there and you're floating and disconnected from your body weight. You'd only really have the weight of your arm now. Here, you got the weight of your body behind your arm. So make sure you pull the lats down so there's a downward stretch so you can get your power to come out of your bridge. Your elbow, when you're working with vital energy, is lower and more spiraled in and grounded because your vital force of your body has a strong relationship to gravity. If you're working with moving from Jin to Chi to astral force, your elbow is suspended Because as you inflate and you're in that sea of chi, the feeling is more buoyant. You're in a swimming pool of energy. That means your joints are not dropping to the ground. They're opening and expanding inside of the energy and creating a totally different visual dynamic. How it feels, how it looks is different. So you start off with stretching and vital, and then as your body becomes more buoyant, everything floats more. And if you look at, say, Ma Yuling, he was in a sea of chi. His body was floating in energy. If you look at Master Wang Xinqiang, he was sinking all the joints to the ground and picking up earth currents and using gravitational waves to bounce people. Very different model. Both worked incredibly well, but totally different principles that they're applying. So when you're starting out, you'll get your structural alignment perfect. Then start vital breathing and relaxing your body into the vital energy structures. And then as you go into astral breathing, your elbows will start floating, your joints will feel buoyant and open, and the feeling of the energy changes because your mind is paying attention to a different frequency, to a different field of energy. Closer you are to the physical, the more things hang, ground, or elastic. And as they raise up in vibration, the more they float and are buoyant and absorbing in the astral field. The wrist. Keep the wrist stretched open. If the wrist locks in through tension, if I contracted, I wouldn't be able to conduct energy very efficiently. But if I stretch the wrist open, so when you punch, you stretch the wrist open, you hold an empty circle of coins, so that when you punch, the facial web of your hand is stretched to conduct that force and fire it straight through. If I contracted the muscles of my forearm and fist, it would hold the tension and it would reverberate back into my forearm and fist. But if I stretch and hollow the fist slightly and create a coiled stretch, the energy shoots and the rubberiness and the elasticity of my body keeps vibrating the energy out and sending it away rather than locking it in my forearm. So don't tighten the forearm and fist when you punch. Stretch the forearm and fist through the target. And whenever you have any push action, you stretch your fingers through the target and extend. Remember, you're developing an elastic body to conduct Jin so you can relax into Qi. And then when you're in the Qi stage, there's more hydraulic pressure through your body rather than stretched elastic pressure. It increases in its space when you start moving into that training model. Now the fingers have to be stretched and feeling. You feel with the fingers, you feel with the hands. You've done this your whole life. You want to feel something, you touch it. You don't put it on the back of your ward-off hand to feel, you touch with your fingers. So you feel energy through the fingers. When you build the ball, it's your fingers which feel the energy first. It's your palm that feels the energy. You've done this your whole life, so why should that change? All of a sudden you start doing Tai Chi where you feel through the back of your arm. This is a guaranteed way not to learn and not to get ahead when someone says, okay, let's do push hands and feel through your arm. That's inherently stupid because your body doesn't work that way. That's a very advanced technique that you do later. Touch with the hands, feel with the hands, and then when you can feel, transfer that bridge across to there and then start feeling with the one hand and the back of the arm, and then just the arm. But most of the exercise will require you to feel through the fingers. Gravitate to the ones that give you results first, and then build up the more difficult skill sets later. You want to be compounding success through correct training, not compounding failure through difficult, awkward types of training. Okay, so once you've got your fingers stretched and in resonance with life force by building the ball Qigong set, you've got those base feelings, then you want to tune the fascia of the whole body to life force. Remember, we're training an elastic biotensecurity structure. Limpness does not generate elasticity. It's what happens at death. So you don't want to train dead limp energy, you want to train elastic alive energy through transferring relaxation from muscle tension to fascia tension, to elastic tension in your body. You do this by pushing the joints open, then you relax the muscles. Push the joints open a bit more, relax the muscles. Push the joints open a bit more, relax the muscles. You need to have a yin-yang relationship in opening and closing the body in each movement. So in the beginning, some people are going to go unlock the joints, unlink everything, make your body a bit limp during the yin phase, and then connect the facial web of the body, connect the tension during the yang phase, when you open the energy. And then disconnect, reconnect, disconnect, reconnect. So there's a linking and unlinking phases taking place. Some people are going to go pull the joints open, magnetic on the yin phase, push the joints open, electric on the yang phase. Never letting people's mass rest on you. You yield, drop dead weight, you absorb active force. So you get these two principles functioning. To understand any structure and any movement in Tai Chi, you have to double your body weight. That means a person has to put their body weight on you to understand how it works. This is also necessary in the form. So if a person doesn't feed the Jin to you and you rebound the force, you can't understand the timing of the movement in the form, which guarantees you'll be doing the timing incorrectly. Because it's quite refined to move through the yin and yang phase of a movement and create an issue. And that issue exists in every single movement in the form. It's only in very high advanced models where you're constantly softening your body into mental vacuity, where you can suck a person out and rebound them at any time, where you only train the yin phase of the energy and the yang phase is required by someone touching the yin. Those types of training models are very advanced and not suitable for a beginner, because there's a very small probability a beginner will be able to get what they're looking for with those types of mental vacuity training models. So leave those high level models where you're just relaxing into the mind and relaxing into a vacuum for later. First, define opening and closing in all movements, practice Fa Jin, build your power, and then put the power into the form and develop your form. So this is important. Your Fa Jin practice should be the beginning. That gives you your timing for push hands. That gives you your timing for form. A lot of people do this backwards. But if you can't do Fa Jin, nothing else is going to work, because you won't be able to have the correct timing and feeling for your push hands and your form. So start off with bouncing your training partner. Okay, so the next area to look at is the relationship between your mind, your body, and what you feel. Now, when you feel tension in your body, you don't want to lose the tension, you want to convert the tension. So some people think relaxation is taking tension out and creating limpness. What we want to do is use the word relaxation to transform energy from one state into another. Sung is transformation. So when I feel tension in my forearm, I want to relax my forearm into a stretch. So this is my mind's relationship to tension. I want to increase radiant energy by taking away inefficient dead tension energy that's caused by muscle contraction, convert it into stretch tension energy that radiates. So I relax and stretch, relax and stretch, relax and stretch, relax and stretch. This generates more radiance. This is the type of frame you're looking for. So the way your mind scans through your body and looks for muscle contraction and relaxes it into a stretch is very, very important. And the way you transition from one posture to the next and go through your movements, you're either pulling the joints open. If I grab something and pull on it, and I pull my joint open with the same mechanics without actually holding anything, versus pushing on something and pushing my joints open, I can yin-yang cycle in my form through those movements. Then you touch your partner and test if you're on the right frequency. If your partner doesn't uproot and bounce when you relax and drop your base, stretch your spine and circulate the energy, you're not doing it correctly. If that's the case, get your partner to cross their arms, create an upward pressure, you touch the elbows and you feel the line to their feet, and then pull their feet up through the stretch of them lifting, and you lead the lift. The elastic stretch that happens inside their body when you lead them, that is where you put your energy when you touch someone, into that elastic stretch where their balance is coming out of their body and their mass is behind and they separate. Balance and mass are separated. That gap is where you put all your forces when you learn to concentrate. So you need to do this for a few hours with a partner, getting that feeling before you learn to stand. Because when you're doing standing practice, guess where you put your feeling of energy? It's into that elastic gap between balance and mass. If you can't put your mind in the right place, you're not at the right frequency to get any value out of standing. People stand for decades and get no power out of it. It's because their mind is in the wrong place. So do the exercise, you touch I've got videos on this topic, touch your partner's elbow, feel their base and suck them out, stretch them out of their base. Connect the elasticity of the body, pull. There's a big gap between the center of mass and center of balance. That elastic feeling is where you put your energy. When you relax into the stretch of your own body, you're inside that gap. You're inside that biotensecurity feeling. When you're doing the form, you're cultivating that feeling in the form. That's the basic foundation of Tai Chi. And then you enliven that feeling with vital energy through your awareness of building the ball, through first transformation, cultivating Chi. You feel the energy, but that is the conductive pathway through which energy moves. It is the feeling you get when you pull the mass and balance apart in a person. There's this big elastic spring. That elastic spring feeling, you can put it into your whole body, and this is what you touch when you touch someone. You touch the connections from their balance and their power, and then you can cut it off and control it and bounce them and do whatever you want in your Tai Chi. Okay, so the next point to look at is your fundamental understanding of what you're doing. We have 3 dantians. Upper dantian regulates your timing and your mental space and the frequency and objects of concentration. Your middle dantian regulates the personality of what you're doing. Is it a loving form? Is it a fighter's form? What personality of energy are you expressing? The upper dantian concentrates on that frequency. The lower dantian is your body mechanics. It controls how you move your mass, how you move it through the biotensecurity of your body, and how your mind regulates that to fuel the personality. So you need to identify how much mental space do I need, what's the timing, and what do I concentrate on for your upper dantian. What is the personality, what I'm doing? Is it soft, is it loving? What is its nature? And how do I mechanically fuel that personality and reticulate and build that energy up? It's the relationship between the upper, middle, and lower dantian. Every Qigong has this relationship. Some Qigongs can only be done at sunrise because they're designed for connecting to the morning sun. Some Qigongs can only be done on a full moon because they're designed to connect the upper dantian to the full moon, activate magnetic body mechanics to draw on the full moon, and then stimulate increased feeling through that Qigong. Other Qigongs are cosmic. Whenever you see the Big Dipper drawn above the person's crown, they're raising up into light, connecting to a cosmic energy, invoking that ray energy through their body and practicing. That can only be done at certain times of the year when those constellations are visible. So most Qigongs have a time in which you can do them. It's a seasonal time, a time of day, a time of the month, and so forth. And then you have health Qigongs that are done on a daily basis, that are releasing muscle tension, tuning fascia, increasing blood circulation, and so forth. And always look at what frequency does my mind concentrate on? How much space is there in and around me? And what is the timing of moving? Is there a yin-yang side to this concentration in the upper dantian? Clearly define the personality of what you're doing, clearly define the body mechanics, and you'll start to get successful synchronized results. Success is when your mind, how you think, how you feel, and how you act are synchronized. A lack of success is a person who goes to work, acts in a certain way, feels like they don't want to be there, and is thinking about the next holiday. The 3 dantians are separated. That person's in a vibrational state of failure. A successful person thinks in one way, feels in one way, and acts in the same way, and everything is fully synchronized. So Tai Chi is an opportunity for you to synchronize the 3 dantians to be successful. And to do that, look at the body mechanics, look at the personality of the energy you're working with, look at the laws of upper dantian, synchronize, and train intelligently. Don't waste time doing something that is not synchronized. Okay, if you have any questions about the Tai Chi, you can drop me an email. I answer most questions via the Tai Chi channel on Vimeo, so you can have a look at that if you're interested. And I will see you on the next video. Thank you.